Hello everyone, Brian here with Product Impressions. I've been using this Blackview Tab 15 for a while now. It's got a 10.25 inch screen and had the opportunity now to try out the new Blackview Mega 1. You can see on the box here, Mega 1. Yeah, this should be interesting. Supposed to have like 11.5 inch screen, 12 gigs of RAM, 256 gigabyte ROM on here. So yeah, I'm excited to try this. Supposed to be able to stream Netflix and Hulu and all of that in high definition, whereas a lot of devices don't have support for that and still end up streaming in 720, even if you have the subscription, and if the device technically can, a lot of times it's not going to. So yeah, let's go ahead and open up the Mega 1 and see what we think about this. Ordinarily, I would get everything set up before I show anything, but I felt it was worth showing what you actually do receive when you order one of these tablets. So first off, you have the tablet itself here. Hey, Mega 1 and various specs. But on top of that, a very nice inclusion, since you are ordering from China when you order one of these, is here we have a glass screen protector that comes with it automatically. You don't have to order one separately. You don't have to pay extra for it. This is a nice thing that Blackview does, is they actually send a screen protector so that you don't have to worry about where you might get one for a foreign branded tablet that is not widely available within the US. You also do get your standard USB-C charger. We also have a European charger here. Not terribly useful here in the United States, but hey, I guess if you're traveling, hopefully you've already got one of these. A simple USB charger shouldn't be a problem. You also do get, it appears to be a little pen. So you get a stylus along with it. That is nice. Underneath here, it can take a SIM card. So you do have a little tool to pop out the SIM card tray. So yeah, that is what all you get when you order a tablet from Blackview. All right, I have been using the new Mega 1 tablet from Blackview for about a month now, and I must say I'm really impressed with this. I really do like it. I've traveled with it. The screen is great. The battery life is fantastic. We're going to go over all of these different specs, but as you can see on my desk here, I do tend to upgrade my tablet from time to time. We've got the, I believe it's the Blackview 8, 10 or 12, something like that, 15, and now the Mega 1. And I must say, this is definitely my favorite of all of them thus far, and it still comes in right around $250, $270, something in that range, $250, $270, depending on the specs that you actually get in here. So let's go ahead and compare how the Mega 1 looks versus the other recent release, which is the Tab 15. Now that is a couple of years old at this point, so we can take a look here. Yes, March of 2024 versus October of 2022. So definitely a couple of years difference here. Let's see if I can get this to show up a little bit better. Hopefully we'll be able to read some of this. Dimensions, obviously it is a little bit bigger since it has a much larger screen. It does, however, also have a stylus support. It does come with a stylus. I don't typically use it, but it's there. It functions if you are more of the artistic type and like to do some drawing on here. 11.5 inch screen versus 10.5, and it is also a better screen to body ratio. Let's see, it is 1200 by 2000 pixels at a 5:3 ratio. The Tab 15 is kind of a standard widescreen format, whereas this is a little bit longer, actually. So that allows them to do some interesting things with the software that we're going to go ahead and take a look at. And that is also in the difference between Android 13 and Android 12 with their Doke OS, whatever build that is. It is a little bit different, and that's worth taking a look at, but that's also another thing to consider, is normally there will be a note on this website if there's any updates available. 2 years old, no updates available. As far as every Blackview tab that I have ever owned or used, they do not update their software. If you are someone who is concerned about constant updates and needing to relearn how to do things, they change nothing ever. So basically, you are buying this tablet, it comes as it is, you will never get an update. So that is one thing to be aware of with Blackview tablets. Another nice aspect here is an increase in memory, 256 gigs of storage and a minimum of 8 gigs of RAM. You can go up to 12 gigs of RAM, which is what I did with this. Main camera, dramatically better, up to a 50 megapixel wide versus 13 megapixel. Can do 1440, the other one only 1080p. And the selfie camera is also better. Basically, the main camera from the Tab 15 becomes the selfie camera. 13 megapixel selfie camera versus 8 on the Tab 15. This one, the Mega 1, does have 4 built-in speakers as opposed to the standard 2 for the Tab 15. And we also have an increase in the Bluetooth standard, so it is going to be a better Bluetooth connection that is more energy efficient. And it also has a fingerprint sensor mounted on the top. That is where we would see that up here. That is the power button and also has a built-in fingerprint sensor. So that is worth noting. It's interesting that the battery size is not that dramatically larger at 8,800 milliamps versus 8,280 milliamp hours. Despite that, I get dramatically better battery life from the Mega 1, even though the screen is larger. I can't really comment that much on the charging of it because where I normally charge all of my devices is not a high-powered charger. It's meant to charge a lot of devices, but none of them quickly. So I must say that I think it's like a 10-watt charger or something like that. If the battery is completely run down, it will take 12 hours or more to fully charge this thing. But that would probably go dramatically faster if I actually had a higher powered charger to use. That really is all of the main differences here between these devices. So let's go ahead and take a look at some of the comparisons as far as what it's like to actually use these devices. So let me go ahead and get that off of the screen. Comparing these two different devices. All right, both of these devices are on and at 50% brightness. Hopefully it's going to come through on the camera, but the Mega 1 here is dramatically brighter. It is way easier to see, even though the pixel density, pixels per inch, is actually a little bit lower on the Mega 1. I don't really notice that. I just notice that the colors are more vibrant, the screen is brighter. Both of these are just on 50%. So yeah, absolutely huge upgrade on the screen. The one game that I do typically have on here and play is Magic Arena, and that can technically run on here, but half of the time when you actually load it up on the Tab 15, it crashes, and then when it does work, it's very laggy, so not the best experience on the Tab 15. Perfectly smooth on here, loads up every time. You can have the graphics at a higher setting, so all in all, yes, the Mega 1 is dramatically better for games. I must also say it is better for battery life. The Tab 15 is good. You can go, about 10 hours or so, I believe, with the Tab 15. This one, I usually have been able to get like 15 hours with some gaming, a fair amount of web browsing, streaming videos on YouTube. So yeah, I am very impressed with the battery life on this. You are probably going to be getting a full day out of this, assuming that you're not doing high intensity gaming the entire time. Web browsing, YouTube videos, yes, this thing is going to last for a very long time. And that, I must say, I'm typically doing that not with the screen quite this bright, but I am doing that at 75% volume, so that is also not a insignificant drain on the battery, having the volume up pretty high. The eagle-eyed amongst you might notice that it does not have a screen protector on there. It has actually slipped out of my hand one time. It did crack the screen protector. Thankfully, it did nothing to the tablet itself. So while some of these other tablets that I have do still have the screen protectors, a lot of them have hairline cracks running through them as this one started to develop. And I figured I would just go ahead and take that off of here. But yeah, that is a wonderful thing. So nice that it did not crack the screen itself. Another reason why I decided to upgrade this is actually for this app Songbook Pro. Not that the tablet really has any, or not that the app really has any spec requirements on the tablet other than having a big bright screen. So that is the main reason to go for this, because I plan on using this for performing music. And here is just a default thing on here. I have it set to white text on black, but you can have it either way. And the main purpose why it's important to have a bright screen is because this thing is going to be competing with stage lights and is going to need to be visible when it's not right up here in front of my face, but rather, you know, several feet away, down, attached to a microphone stand, so that I will actually be able to see the lyrics and chords and remind myself and, you know, not screw things up. I have in the past had to basically say, you know, I'm sorry, I forgot the lyrics, put down my guitar, go and get lyric sheets, put them on a music stand, and resume what I was doing. But yeah, you can also see on the screen here, this is where the added height comes in. What they have added at the bottom is your main row of apps is always visible, along with a clock and one of the recently opened apps. So for me, that is YouTube down at the bottom of the screen here. If we go back out, you can see that's what I have at the main row of apps across the bottom. When you actually go into one of these apps, that actually stays there, so you can quickly access any other app that you want. I opened Zoom on here because it makes it a little bit easier to see with the white screen, but also because right now I've reached out to the wonderful people at Zoom and have not gotten a response yet. They don't really support this tablet, so if your main interest is doing video calls through Zoom, you're going to have to look elsewhere. Maybe you need a different service, but yeah, when you start a meeting here, as you can see, you can kind of just barely see the light that I'm using to record this video. The camera typically is almost completely black. Yep, there's my face. Hopefully you can see a little bit. Yeah, if I am right underneath a bright light, I just barely show up. So this is a problem that Zoom has with various devices, but it is just worth knowing that at this time, it doesn't seem to be supported. Like I said, I've reached out to them. Thus far, no luck, no responses. Perhaps that's because I'm no longer a high-paying member as I used to be, but whatever. Yeah, otherwise, as we've already mentioned, camera on here, very good. The build quality on this seems to be very solid. I like the case that they have on here. It is a little bit different between the Mega 1 and their entire Tab series. You can see that immediately just on looking at the covers themselves. There is only a single crease in the center for putting this on a stand. There are two creases on the Tab series. So what that means in use is that you can make a triangle shape with the cover behind here, whereas you have to just kind of notch it in carefully into the little indentation in the back on the Mega 1. This does not make for as stable of a stand setting, so I would be a little bit more hesitant about trying to use this as a laptop with an external keyboard if I was on a flight or somewhere with turbulence, because just a little tap and down it goes. There is a way of trying to set it up a little bit better, which is having the tab extend, the flap extend out in front of you. Then you have a little bit more control over where you place it, but then you've got something in front of you that may throw things off as far as the height of the keyboard, the positioning of everything, if you're trying to take notes in front of you. So yeah, that is one thing to note. This one is not going anywhere if you tap it, but also no real control over the angle of the view. So yeah, that is another consideration. Otherwise, the build on this is extremely straightforward. You've got one USB-C port here, got your two speakers on this side, and on top you have two matching speakers as well. So that's where the 4 speakers come in. As I mentioned already, power button and fingerprint sensor. And you have your volume up and down buttons. And down here, you've got space for the SD card or SIM card, whatever you happen to put in there. Given that this is a Chinese tablet, I'm not sure how well it would function as a phone for phone service in the US because the wireless standards are different. From what I understand, you might be able to get like 3G data, but not 4G. So just something to be considered. Probably, if you're buying something like this, it's probably not for use as a phone. But yeah, there we go. There's the 50 megapixel sensor on the back as well. All in all, I am very impressed with this. You can do pretty much anything that you might need to do on a computer, assuming that you don't require any real specialized software. So basic word processing, spreadsheets, streaming videos, internet browsing, pretty much anything you want to do, you're going to be able to do on this. And the screen is very nice. I have not gotten tired of looking at the screen. The volume out of the speakers is really impressive. Blackview does a good job with their speakers and the volume that you can get while still maintaining a decent sound quality. Obviously, tiny device, the sound is going to be kind of thin. You're not getting a lot of bass. But it does remain clear, and it does get louder than a lot of laptops that I've tested as well. So definitely something worth considering. I know also I recently had up the a video for the headphones, the AirBuds 8. I am still impressed with these, still using these as well. So yeah, I'm generally impressed. Blackview has been coming a long way. The only real consideration then is, do you want to have the latest updates? If you are doing anything where you are concerned about the security of the sites that you're visiting, the apps that you are using, go with something else that is going to get updates. Blackview never updates their software. So what you get is what you get. And yeah, so that's a valid concern. So that's part of why I have tended to update every couple of years to make sure that you have the latest build, the latest security features, because they're not going to come later. Hopefully all of this has been of some help to you. If you have any questions for me about the Mega 1 tablet, or frankly any of these other tablets, I will do my best to answer. They aren't all in ready use all the time at this point, but yeah, feel free to leave a comment down below. I'll do my best to answer whatever I can. Otherwise, like, share, subscribe. I will see you next time.